Well, good afternoon, all. My name is Professor, yes, speak into the microphone is the note we have up here. So, my name is Professor Graham Murphy, and I'm a faculty member in the Department of Chemistry, and I serve as the Associate Dean for External Affairs in the Faculty of Science. The Dean of Science is abroad this week, and so it's my pleasure to welcome you to the annual Faculty of Science Alumni Awards. It's wonderful to be here with all of our special Alumni Award recipients, their friends and their families. And it's great to see so many faculty and staff from the Faculty of Science who are also here to support and celebrate our awardees and the broader scientific community. I'd also like to acknowledge two past award recipients who are joining us today, Ashley Stiegelmeyer, who we'll hear from shortly, and Jason Field. First, we will begin with the territorial acknowledgement. The University of Waterloo acknowledges that much of our work takes place on the traditional territory of the neutral Anishinaabe and Haudenosaunee peoples. Our main campus is situated on the Haldeman Tract, the land granted to the Six Nations that includes 6 miles on each side of the Grand River. Our active work towards reconciliation takes place across our campuses through research, learning, teaching, and community building, and is coordinated within the Office of Indigenous Relations. Okay? So today, we have the privilege of celebrating 8 incredible science alumni. They come from a wide range of academic backgrounds. They have pursued diverse career paths, and whose accomplishments are as unique as they are inspiring. Celebrating success in the sciences is incredibly important, not only to recognize individual achievement, but also to highlight the impact our scientific community continues to have beyond this campus. The international reputation of both the Faculty of Science and the University of Waterloo are deeply connected to the accomplishments of our alumni. And today is a wonderful opportunity to honor 8 individuals who have contributed to that legacy. To begin our celebrations, it is my pleasure to introduce, not myself, but Dr. Chris Hauser, the Dean of Science, who will be briefly joining us through a pre-recorded video message.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Faculty of Science Alumni Award ceremony. Today is about celebration and science. First, a warm welcome to our award recipients and to their families and guests who are here to share this moment with them. Thank you as well to our faculty, staff, and colleagues from across the University of Waterloo for being here. Your presence matters. While I wish I could be with you in person, I'm currently in China on university business, meeting with alumni and industry partners on behalf of the Faculty of Science. Even from across the globe, I did not want to miss the opportunity to congratulate you. To our 8 award recipients, Liz, Yvonne, Jerry, Robert, David, Heather, Helen, and Rob, please accept my heartfelt congratulations on this honor. Your achievements reflect years of dedication, curiosity, and leadership. It's through your work you have advanced knowledge, created positive change, and made a meaningful difference in your fields and communities. You are living proof of the lasting impact of a science education at Waterloo and how this foundation continues to shape leaders, innovators, and change makers around the world. Celebrating our alumni matters because your success strengthens the reputation both of our faculty and the university. It inspires current students, creates new opportunities for partnerships, and shows the world what is possible when talent, curiosity, and opportunity come together. I hope you enjoy today and have time to reconnect with campus. I encourage you to reflect on your journey, appreciate how far you have come, and take pride in this well-earned recognition. On behalf of the University of Waterloo, the Faculty of Science, and the Science Advancement Team, congratulations on this very special honor. Enjoy the celebration.
Thank you, Dean Hauser, for those remarks. Now, to begin our official programming, I would like to introduce Ashley Stiegelmeier to the stage. So, Ashley graduated from the Waterloo Biology program with a BSc in 2015 and an MSc in 2017. Last year, Ashley joined Liberum Biotech as a research coordinator. Liberum is accelerating protein discovery by combining machine learning with cell-free biology. Their industry-leading cell-free lysate system makes enzyme and antibody discovery easier, faster, and less expensive. Ashley's role focuses on strain engineering and high-throughput screening to optimize protein production. And Ashley was also the 2024 Early Alumni Excellence Award recipient, and I welcome her to offer some welcoming remarks.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the 2025 Faculty of Science Alumni Awards. You have arrived at the most auspicious event of the awards season. The Oscars have nothing on today's lineup. For we are gathered here today to celebrate alumni innovation and research excellence. We will be awarding alumni for their distinguished careers, the early alumni excellence, their innovation, their contributions to humanity, and their contributions to science. Today, I truly stand in the midst of giants. Founded in 1967, the UW is now 69 years old. We attended this institution across many different years, but I hope a few aspects of our undergrads, our masters, and our doctorate programs here all had similarities. I remember the chants of water, water, water. Yeah, that sang out throughout the campus. Or, if we want to get specific, to the best faculty at the university, H2O, LO2, science rocks at Waterloo. We guarded those giant lab goggles from the dastardly engineers who tried their hardest to steal it. All of us have something in common. We also survived the goose nesting season. I remember the years before the Goose Watch app existed. The first years would cower in fear as they tiptoed around the nests to hurry towards Cell Biology 101 or Organic Chemistry. Those nesting cobra chickens could be more vicious than any midterm question on stereochemistry, multi-step synthesis, or Newtonian physics calculations. Outside of our labs and exams, we would all visit the science C&D shop together and wondered how our peers at the high school down the road somehow managed to not have any labs on Fridays. I have very fond memories of Fed Hall as we are gathered here today. I actually remember stepping here on my very first day of science orientation. Throughout the years, it has hosted many a sci-ball or event. Depending on the decade you attended UW, Fed Hall was either swell, groovy, rad, cool, or lit. Nowadays, I believe the undergrads would say, it slaps, fam. Regardless of the decade we attended, we all experienced the excitement of new acquaintances, a smooth beat, or a secret science dance. Although the science alumni have since dispersed around the globe, there are many ways that we all remain involved together each year with the Waterloo community. Waterloo has the best co-op program in the world. Alumni Training the Scientists of Tomorrow is a rewarding and impactful endeavor. If you are local, employers can now also give tours of their workplaces to science students to showcase what a career in science looks like. Today, we are celebrating 8 inspirational alumni. Their work spans all facets of science, from biophysical chemistry, infectious disease, atomically precise manufacturing, immunotherapy, science and business, antibiotic resistance, chemistry, and toxicology. Truly, all spheres of the amazing realm of science are being celebrated here today. These individuals have changed what we know about the world, our understanding of protein folding and polyolefin microstructures. They are champions of the role of science in society, of authenticity, of empowering human cells to fight disease. Thousands have had their tech careers begin because of their amazing startup companies. Thousands more have been inspired by the professors we are about to celebrate today. They have spent decades volunteering at a wide range of important initiatives, from pediatric cancer research to youth ice hockey. They have saved lives. Yes, people in the world at this very moment are living as a direct result of these 8 brilliant individuals. And right now, they are creating solutions to save future lives before illness even strikes. Their careers have spanned academia, industry, hospitals, and startups, but all of them had their spark of inquisitiveness, their love for science nurtured at the University of Waterloo. I am also told at least some of them love cats. Today is a day to give thanks. I would like to thank Dean Chris Hauser for your leadership of the Faculty of Science and your support of both alumni and current students. Thank you to the family and friends of the award recipients. Your support has directly contributed to the successes we are celebrating today. I would also like to thank the organizers of this event. It takes an immense amount of work to put this together. Thank you for your thoughtfulness and hard work. You have all created a very meaningful day of celebration. Thank you to UW Catering Service for your delicious victuals that you've provided with, and I would especially like to thank the faculty and staff who support every aspect of a student's journey at UW. You are currently inspiring the young minds that will be the future of tomorrow, and one day they will stand at this very podium after changing the world. With every passionate lecture that you give, you are causing little cogs to turn that will one day turn into a life-changing event in the world. So here's to the dreamers, the innovators, the entrepreneurs, and the teachers. The explorers in this room who were the first in the entire world to discover a puzzle piece in the vast expanse of this glorious universe. To the guardians who protected your fellow citizens with spreadsheets, with pipettes and graphs and data. To this year's award winners, I offer my sincerest congratulations. You have all worked incredibly hard, and we know more about the world directly because of your efforts. I would like to welcome you to a distinguished group of science alumni. Let the ceremony begin.
Thank you, Ashley, for those inspiring words. And now it is time to begin the award presentations, starting with the category of Early Alumni Excellence Award. The Faculty of Science Early Alumni Excellence Award recognizes alumni within 10 years of graduation who have demonstrated significant service, contribution, and achievement. This prestigious award honors individuals who have made notable professional or academic accomplishments, such as exemplary career success, leadership, or advisory roles, or receiving significant recognition beyond their industry, and/or who have contributed meaningfully to society through sustained community engagement, volunteerism, philanthropy, or ideal initiatives. Eligible recipients show clear, measurable impact at the local to international level and may also demonstrate strong engagement with the University of Waterloo through advocacy, partnership, mentorship, or support of students and our programs. At this time, I would like to invite Shifumi Oshinaike, UWaterloo Bachelor of Applied Science alum and nominator and fellow co-founder of CoLab, to present this year's Early Alumni Excellence Award to Helen Wong.
Thank you, and good afternoon. Awesome, thank you very much. So Helen, would you like to join me on stage, please? Give it up for Helen, everyone. Everyone, please, could you just, thank you so much. So I have a few things to say. I'm very proud of you, first of all, so congratulations. So Helen and I met over a decade ago at the University of Waterloo while we were preparing for interviewing for Microsoft. And so they had organized an event like this for us, and while everyone had their game face on, we were around a lot of high-achieving folks. You know, Helen was in a corner, she was happy, she was bubbly, she was bold, and she was calm. So she brought that energy. And so when other people chose to compete and to sort of like protect themselves because we're all competing for this role, even though we're all told that we could all be hired if we passed the interview, Helen chose to collaborate. So Helen and I prepared together for the interview, and it was no surprise that it was actually just only two of us that got the role. And that was like the first time that it really just occurred to me that this is the kind of person that Helen was. She just chose to support me in that process and support a bunch of other people as well. She deeply believes that helping others succeed does not diminish you, it actually only amplifies you and elevates you. You know, one of the things that she always said to me very early on before we started our company is everyone has something to learn and everyone has something to teach. That's sort of like the philosophy that we use to build our company, and she genuinely lives and breathes that every time. And so that's sort of like the mindset that we use to build our company Collab, where we've helped train over 2,000 professionals across 60 different countries. And another thing that she was very non-negotiable about was it has to be accessible. Helen brings the voice to the voiceless, and she wants to make sure that people are included. She was like, this isn't some exclusive club. You know, we both came from non-traditional backgrounds, and so she wanted to make sure that whatever it is that we're doing it for the people who didn't have the chance to be in that position. So that's kind of like who she is. Helen's one of the hardest working people I know, first of all. I know she has this like amazing demeanor, but she's amazingly hardworking. She sees things from like a 360-degree angle in ways that you wouldn't even imagine. She has an incredibly high bar for excellence, and she elevates everyone else around her. So she's elevated me, our teammates, and even all the students that we've been able to train. Everyone can showcase how much Helen has impacted our life. And you know, we say this thing called "You Belong in Tech." You know, that is something that she came up with as not just our mantra and our slogan that we use in our company, but as a belief system that genuinely like lifts others. And we have this philosophy of, you know, we rise by lifting others. So she's not just my co-founder; she's my best friend. And believe it or not, we're actually twins. You know, we say that a lot because we're very alike in many ways, and I generally believe that this is the best kinds of partnership that, you know, I required to even be a founder, and she's the reason why I'm on this stage today and any other stage that I've been in my life. So I'm very grateful to you, Helen. And she honestly represents what's the best about the University of Waterloo. She brings brilliance, generosity, the humanness, and also boldness, you know, while remaining incredibly humble. And so I'm very excited for her humanity, her leadership, and for the countless lives that she's impacted. It's my honor to present the Early Alumni Excellence Award to my co-founder, my best friend, my twin sister, Helen Huang. Now I would like to pass it on to Helen to say a few words as well.
Well, thank you, Shifumi, for the nomination, the friendship, and for showing up for me all those years after our co-op term has ended. And thank you to the University of Waterloo, as well as the Faculty of Science, for this year's Early Alumni Excellence Award. It's genuinely an honor to be recognized along such an incredible group of other people today. So I'll be honest, when I first applied to the Science and Business program here, I really had no idea what it is that I was signing up for. I knew I liked science, I knew I liked business, but I didn't actually know what they had to do with one another. And more importantly, I had no idea how to build a career in the middle or what that could even look like. Well, after 4 years of geochemistry labs, groundwater flow reports, business case presentations, and the many semesters of being a science orientation leader, co-chair of the Science and Business Fusion Conference, I learned that being in the intersection of the two can be a deliberate choice. You don't actually necessarily have to pick a side, because finding something that you're passionate about that blends all of what you like is actually quite possible. And that was a major learning that I learned from the students, team members, and others that I met here at the university. The co-op program obviously also enforced this multidisciplinary mindset. The rhythm and difficulty and hardship of moving between classroom to industry every 4 months, that trained me to think in cycles. Experiment, learn, adjust, repeat. And that's actually still how I operate today. And of course, I also have to mention the entrepreneurship community at Waterloo, the spirit at Velocity Residence, where I spent a semester living there, and the student clubs and hackathons. All of that gave me permission to take risks before I had any reason to know that they would work. So Shifumi spoke a lot about CoLab, and that was an incredibly formative chapter. The impact that we've been able to have on our thousands of learners was one that started right here on campus. And now I'm embarking on a new journey with my second company, Trove, where we're creating a new type of artifact that showcases human character through behavior rather than self-reporting. We're applying the same rigorous, evidence-based thinking that I learned while studying earth sciences, but now to people. And just as those lessons from Waterloo has shaped both companies, the university itself has continued to be a huge part of my journey. The amazing people here have actually collaborated with me for years, granting me the opportunity to speak here, at the Innovation Summit, being featured in the Global Futures publication, speaking as part of the Waterloo Alumni podcast, and of course, coming back to be able to chat with current students as well. They've championed my work in ways that I genuinely didn't anticipate, and I'm deeply grateful for. And I'm so excited to stay close as I continue to build and grow as an individual. So thank you again to my professors from the Science and Business program, to the co-op and entrepreneurship community, including the Conrad School of Entrepreneurship and Business and the Center for Career Development, to Shifumi and David, and lastly, to the Faculty of Science and the Office of Advancement for this honor today. And now that my speech is done, I can say phew, because I'm really also excited to learn from all of the other honorees as well. So thank you again so much for this opportunity, as well as the endless inspiration and pursuit of excellence that Waterloo has instilled in me. So let's dream big, and I'm excited to see what happens next. Thank you.
Thank you, and congratulations, Helen, once again on your award. Okay. Next, we will present the Contributions to Humanity Awards. The Faculty of Science Contribution to Humanity Awards recognizes alumni who have demonstrated a sustained commitment to making a meaningful difference in the world following their graduation from Waterloo Science. This prestigious award honors individuals whose accomplishments reflect significant community impact through volunteerism, leadership, advocacy, humanitarian efforts, or in the promotion of science. Recipients show clear, recognized contributions to society, including long-term involvement in community or philanthropic initiatives, advancement of ideal principles, and measurable impact at the local, regional, national, or international levels. This year, we have 2 award recipients. And I would like to invite Colleen Bader, an alumnus from BES, and the nominator of the first of our award recipients, Heather Candon.
Thank you, Graham. All right. So I am honored to have nominated Heather Candon for the University of Waterloo's Science Alumni Contribution to Humanity Award, and beyond privileged to share some words as to why Heather deserves it. It is amazing that this award ceremony is taking place right here in Federation Hall. Fed Hall was such a memorable spot for Heather and I, and several of our friends who are also joining us here today. We all met in first year university 26 long years ago, living in Village 1, West 5 residences, and spending many evenings dancing right here on this very floor. The University of Waterloo didn't just give us the gift of an outstanding world-class education, it gave us the gift of lifelong friendships that we are all so grateful for today. 9 of us call ourselves the Waterloo Girls and have been there for the highs and lows that life always throws at you. One of them just walked in late. Heather graduated from the University of Waterloo with a Bachelor of Science, honors in biology, specializing in microbiology. From building this strong academic foundation here at UW, she went on to receive 2 master's degrees, one in microbiology from the University of British Columbia and one in health management from McMaster University. Heather has countless certifications, qualifications, published journal articles, and endless academic presentations under her belt. I think she might also secretly hold the superpower of not needing to sleep to get all of those things actually accomplished. Heather currently works at Sunnybrook Health Sciences Center as the Director of Infection Prevention and Control and Nurse-Led Outreach. If that doesn't keep her busy enough, though, she's also an adjunct lecturer in Kingston at Queen's University, where she teaches foundations of infection control and environments of care. Kingston, where she travels to once a week to teach, holds a very special place in Heather's heart. Not only was she raised by proud parents, Paul and Angela, in that historic city, but it is also where she managed the front lines of the COVID-19 pandemic. Fate would have it that Heather started her career as the Director of Infection Prevention and Control for Kingston Health Sciences Center in January of 2020. This is where I believe she made her greatest contribution to humanity so far. And this is where my group needs to get out some tissues, I think. And I apologize. In her role, Heather was pivotal in creating the national approach for models and protocols for our health systems to adhere to in keeping the spread of COVID-19 and subsequent fatalities to a minimum. I remember my brother-in-law, who's a family physician and anesthesiologist in Hamilton, stating that Kingston Health Sciences Center was the leader in COVID-19 protocols in Ontario, and that he and his medical team were so grateful for their pivotal work. I couldn't have been prouder knowing one of my best friends was responsible for this life-saving information being spread and used across the province and eventually the country. In the first 2 years of the pandemic, when Heather was working endless hours around the clock in Kingston, her amazing partner, Jason, was managing the household back home in Toronto with 2 young children, Olivia and William, who were just 10 and 8 years old at the time. I asked Jason what it was like at that time to manage the household while balancing his own career, raising 2 children, and of course, having his partner being so far away, doing such important work. Jason kindly shared these words. COVID asked a lot of people, and Heather gave everything she could. While she was working the front lines in Kingston, our family stayed in Toronto so she could do her job safely and properly. It wasn't easy for any of us, especially with 2 kids in elementary school, but we never doubted what she was doing or why she was doing it. We were incredibly proud of her then, and we remain just as proud now of the work she did, the people she served in Greater Kingston, and the example she continues to set for our family. Her children were also kind enough to share some words with me about why they think their mother deserves this prestigious award. And as a mom, these will be hard because I couldn't imagine being away from my son, who's 9, for 2 years. Olivia, now 15. Sorry. Shared with me, I'm so proud of my mom for receiving this award. I know she worked really hard during her time living and working in Kingston. I love seeing her being rewarded for that, even though living without her during COVID was really tough. Thanks, Olivia. William, now 13, shared, during COVID, it was tough not having my mom at home with me. I knew she was doing the right thing in Kingston day in and day out. I got to see her once a month. That was really hard. She definitely deserves this award. Well, Heather, on behalf of your courageous family, our incredible friends, the scientific community here at the University of Waterloo and beyond, and most importantly, those who will never get to know or thank you themselves, thank you for leading the charge at the outset of the pandemic, for giving up precious years with your young family, and for taking on such an unimaginable burden to keep us all safe. Heather, congratulations on receiving the 2025 Contribution to Humanity Award.
I love you. Okay, I'm gonna pull it together for this. Okay, so thank you so much. It's an honor to receive this award from the University of Waterloo Faculty of Science. When I think back on my career, it is very clear to me the path began here. Waterloo didn't just provide to me a degree, it provided me with the curiosity, the confidence, and the scientific grounding to really pursue a career that I didn't even know existed or had the language for at the time. I still recall taking my first microbiology courses with Dr. Dragana Miskovic, Dr. Owen Ward, and Dr. Mike Cassidy. Some of you probably know them, having been in science. Those classes opened a whole new world for me. As you heard, I ultimately ended up in infection prevention and control after doing some graduate studies. This was the perfect marriage of all the things I loved, between infectious diseases, laboratory science, epidemiology, education, but at the crux of all that is patient safety. And that's why I show up every single day. And infection control has very much become a vocation and a passion to me, and much less of a job. There are thousands of infection control practitioners that work across Canada and in Ontario. It's an important job. It's a job that, when you think of healthcare, you don't often think of infection control practitioners, but COVID really put us on the map, actually. As I said, there's thousands of us working across Canada. During the COVID-19 pandemic, it's important work, but the COVID-19 pandemic, unfortunately, without strong infection control, we had a lot of mortalities, and a lot of that was in the long-term care sector. In Canada, we lost thousands of seniors, and Ontario was the worst hit in the world of any congregate living setting. And as a result of that, the latter half of my career, I'm absolutely dedicating to make sure that we have the ethical and regulatory framework within Ontario to function within infection control, entry to practice, title protection, and educational pathway to entry. So that's where I'm trying to take my career for the latter half. As you heard, I did work through the COVID-19 pandemic. I saw our healthcare system under incredible strain, but I also saw incredible strength from the healthcare workers that showed up every day, principled and prepared. I also had the opportunity to see just how interconnected our healthcare system is at the provincial level, and how important it is that we protect access to care for all and not just for those who can afford it. There is a big push in the province at the moment to privatize our healthcare system, and that is something we should be advocating for, that we have access to care for everyone. And ultimately, it's a very quintessential Canadian value to make sure that we can take care of our neighbors. I'm going to pivot for a moment, and I'd like to talk to my family. So to my children who are here today, I feel like I did miss 2 years of your lives, guys, when I was working in Kingston around the clock. It's a great privilege to see you guys grow up. It gives me great joy and peace to see you guys grow up before my eyes. You're about to strike out on your own educational journey shortly. I encourage you to seek education at every opportunity that you can get. Learn to critically think, learn to evaluate evidence. We need to see kids like you grow up and actually understand how to interpret the world around them, particularly at this inflection point in history and where we are. Great to see you guys grow up. To my husband, I wouldn't be standing up here without you under any circumstances. Well, I leaned in at work, you leaned in at home, you put your career on the back burner, and that doesn't show up on a resume, so I love you guys. To my Waterloo friends of, I think it's 27 years, Colleen. So of my Waterloo friends for 27 years, we all met in Village 1. Thank you for showing up for every chapter and every milestone, guys, I love you. And finally, to Colleen, if anyone knows Colleen, they know she absolutely embodies the spirit of this award that I'm receiving for humanity and the service that you provide every day to shaping the minds of the youth in our province. And Colleen is a teacher, so I'd like to dedicate this award to you, Colleen. I love you, and thank you very much, and I appreciate it. Thanks so much, everybody.
Wow, who knew it was going to be a tearjerker? Thank you, Heather, and congratulations again. Okay. Next, I would like to invite Dr. John Corrigan, a PhD alumnus from U Waterloo and the current chair of the Department of Chemistry here, to present the award to Dr. David Wright.
Thank you, Graham. and good afternoon, gentle persons. It is my honor to recognize an individual whose achievements make a profound contribution to humanity here. To recognize an alumnus who has proven their dedication to making a meaningful difference in the world and lives of others following their graduation from the University of Waterloo Faculty of Science. Today, we can celebrate Dr. David Wright, an extraordinary scientist, humanitarian, and proud Waterloo Science alum. As background, David began his academic journey here, earning his Bachelor of Science in Honors Applied Chemistry co-op. He then continued to shape his scientific path with an MSc in toxicology from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, following his interests in a program was not available in Canada. This was followed by a PhD in toxicology and cell biology from North Carolina State University. And along the way, he further advanced his professional expertise by earning regulatory affairs certifications for both Canada and the United States, demonstrating his lifelong commitment to scientific rigor and public safety. Today, David serves as the head of early stage oncology global regulatory strategy at Pfizer, where he leads teams responsible for guiding promising anti-cancer therapies from discovery into clinical trials. His more than 30 years in regulatory affairs include over 20 in oncology drug development and leadership roles, and represent work that has touched millions of lives. Through his expertise, David helps shepherd treatments that extend life, reduce suffering, and offer hope to patients and families around the globe. What we celebrate this afternoon is not just these impacts that David has had, it is his humanitarian spirit. For the last 15 years, David has shaved his head annually to show solidarity with children battling cancer, raising over $120,000 for the St. Baldrick's Foundation, a large childhood cancer research charity. This is a deeply personal act of compassion that fuels research, supports families, and stands as a testament to the power of empathy in action. His commitment to bettering the world shows up elsewhere in his life. 2 decades coaching youth ice hockey, mentoring young people with patients' heart and providing structure. Long-time philanthropic support for Waterloo Science, helping strengthen the very institution that helped shape him and his career. And dedicated support of the University of North Carolina's Lineberger Comprehensive Cancer Center, advancing cancer research globally. David's career and character reflects the very essence of what this award stands for: leadership directed towards a betterment of humanity. So today, on behalf of the Faculty of Science, it is my great privilege to introduce and honor him, a leader in oncology, a champion for children with cancer, a devoted mentor and volunteer, an inspiring member of Waterloo Science family. Please join me in welcoming and congratulating him.
Thank you very much, John, and to the Alumni Awards Committee for this honor and wonderful reason to return to campus. It's been a while. My best reason to return to campus was for graduation ceremonies for my son, who's accompanying me here today, and his fiance in 2022. But this is a close second. Over the next couple minutes, I want to share the link between 2 of my strongest passions and this wacky beard. University of Waterloo, especially one non-traditional chemistry co-op placement in occupational health and safety, really led me on an academic and professional path that shaped the rest of my life. Without going into the twists and turns, I've spent the last 30+ years, as you just heard, developing oncology drugs with a passion to help patients with cancer live better and longer. A second passion was coaching youth ice hockey. I recently retired from this endeavor, but it was an honor and privilege for 20 years, and I really treasure the bonds that I've made with players and their families over that time. Back in 2011, when I was coaching a 10-year-old boy, I learned that he was an active fundraiser for the St. Baldrick's Foundation. Something that I had considered to do, but never had the courage to. to pursue. He inspired me to become an active fundraiser, and I'm extremely grateful that he did. As John mentioned, in my first 15 years, with help from my family, friends, and colleagues, I've raised more than $130,000 US to help kids with cancer. Thank you. A little plug for the organization. Kids' cancers are different from adult cancers. And childhood cancer research is extremely underfunded. Since 2005, St. Baldrick's has provided more than $369 million US to fund cancer research grants, the largest charity funder of childhood cancer research grants in the world. Every grant goes through a rigorous scientific review, ensuring that the greatest possible impact for children with cancer by funding new discovery research, translational research, clinical trials, and training the next generation of pediatric oncologists. The signature fundraising event for St. Baldrick's occurs annually at head shaving events, where the fundraisers experience one of the side effects that kids with cancer experience during treatment. That 10-year-old boy wasn't stigmatized by shaving his head, so I decided to step up and help. Now back to the beard story. In 2011, I grew long hair on top of my head before getting ready to shave, but now the force of science, actually gravity, has pulled the hair from the top of my head to my face. So it's taken over, and that's the best I can do to grow a wacky beard to inspire donations at this point. In addition to my fundraising efforts, as John mentioned, I'm a longtime financial supporter of Waterloo Science and Lineberger Cancer Research Center and several environmental causes. As we celebrate today, I hope each of us find a way on our own to lift someone up, whether it's mentoring a student, supporting life-changing research, stepping forward for a cause that inspires you. I encourage you to take that next step. Together we can create opportunities, spark hope, and make a lasting difference for those who need it most. My deepest thanks go to my family. My wife had knee surgery earlier this month and wasn't able to attend. But our son, fellow Waterloo alumnus, engineering alumnus, is here to support me. Also, thank you to my friends and colleagues for supporting all of my fundraising throughout these years. Thanks again to UW Science for this cherished award, and congratulations to my fellow awardees. Thank you.
Thank you, and congratulations, David, once again. Our next category is the Alumni Innovation Award. The Faculty of Science Alumni Innovation Award recognizes alumni who exemplify the entrepreneurial and innovative spirit fostered at Waterloo. This prestigious award honors individuals who have founded or scaled companies, driven transformative change within the startup ecosystem, or made significant contributions through investment, mentorship, or commercialization of new ideas. Recipients demonstrate outstanding professional achievement in innovation, discovery, entrepreneurship, or commercialization, and may include alumni who have participated in Velocity or other UWaterloo entrepreneurship programs. At this point, I would like to invite Dr. John Corrigan back to the stage to present the award to this year's recipient, Dr. Robert Fraze.
Thank you again, Graham. It is a pleasure and an honor to speak about someone whose career has helped shape modern computational chemistry, catalysis, and the chemistry of advanced materials, Dr. Rob Fraze. Robert's journey began here at the University of Waterloo, where he combined a passion for chemistry and mathematics with an equally impressive talent for basketball. earning all Canadian honors, serving as team captain, and ultimately becoming the university's Male Athlete of the Year. Wow. Is that it? That blend of discipline, teamwork, and intellectual drive would go on to define his entire career. He continued his academic ascent at the Guelph Waterloo Centre for Graduate Work in Chemistry, completing his master's and PhD with Professor John Goddard. His graduate research led to multiple publications, prestigious NSERC postgraduate scholarship, and the Forster Medal as the top graduating student at the University of Guelph, a clear sign of what was to come. After an exceptional NSERC postdoctoral fellowship with Professor Morukuma at Emory University, where he published 18 papers in just 21 months, he joined Union Carbide in 1997, later becoming part of the Dow Chemical Company, where Robert has established himself as a scientific leader within the organization. His impact is profound. He is a co-inventor or co-inventor on 37 granted U.S. patents, with numerous additional patent applications. He has authored over 70 external peer-reviewed publications, accumulating almost 7,000 citations, and contributing to foundational work to computational chemistry and polymer science. As a point of reference, his postdoctoral research alone has been cited over 2,400 times and remains a defining contribution to multi-layer theoretical methods. He has a long list of internal awards and promotions at Dow that reflect the respect he has earned across the teams and disciplines throughout his career there. He is known for scientific excellence and impact, driving innovation in homogeneous catalysis, polymer science, organic electronics, and reaction kinetics. As a prime example, Robert systematically developed from first principles one of the most consequential advances in polymer science of recent times. And to appreciate its significance, consider the context that the advent of Ziegler nanopolymerization in the 1950s, our world has produced literally billions of metric tons of polyethylene, enabling modern life across health, transportation, agriculture, packaging, electronics, and more. Robert envisaged something truly new, a so-called ladder mechanism, which a catalyst carries two growing polymer chains on the same catalytic metal center, where a small molecule couples these chains together in a single concerted step. And you can imagine this as adding a rung to an extending ladder. And this enables down gauging, delivering the same polymer performance with far less material, reducing waste at industrial scales. As the Vice President of Research and Development at Dow observed, this breakthrough expands the polyethylene design space to create low in carbon emissions, circular and safer products across packaging, infrastructure, consumer, transportation, and health applications. In short, this is how fundamental insight becomes societal impact. His leading expertise in this breakthrough culminated in a 2024 Science paper. This finding is predicted to fundamentally impact polymer science for literally decades to come. Please join me this afternoon in congratulating Robert on these accomplishments and this award.
It's been a while since I've been to Fed Hall. It's a little different here compared to the old days, but yeah, thanks for the organizing committee for setting all this up. This is really wonderful, and for Professor Corrigan for nominating me for this award. It's really quite exciting. I want to just reflect back a little bit on my life, actually. I grew up outside of Stratford on a farm, and I came here in the 80s as a math major. So my father was in the math faculty here for 30-some years, and so I started as a math major, switched into chemistry, went to something a little bit more applied, that's something I probably use in my life rather than math. But So I went into chemistry, and of course I played basketball, and that was a big part of my life and part of my experience at Waterloo was just coming here, and both the academic side and the athletic, and plus I lived in Stratford and worked on the farm at the same time. So it was a very interesting dynamic of everything during that period of time. I went to GWC Squared and still had all these ties to Waterloo, you know, whether it was professors on my committee or taking classes here or whatever. So I still had the ties to the University of Waterloo here. Eventually, I postdoced at Emory, University in Atlanta, and you know, we all have these forks in our lives, right, where we're going to make big decisions. And I wanted to come back to Canada and be an academic, but you know, it just didn't work at the time. And so I ended up taking a job in industry where I've been now. This is my 29th year at essentially Dow, the Dow Chemical Company. I married an American woman, Shannon, wonderful lady. We have two boys, Darwin and Orion. Yeah, I'm a scientist, right? So they're not scientists. Darwin is at Sundance Film Festival right now. He's a film and media major, and Orion's a jazz musician, right? So in college. So very interesting. Yeah. We support them completely. We really love it. But you know, then you know, I moved up to Midland at some point, and you know, I hadn't been, so we'd come back to Stratford many a times because my family lived there, and of course I had a family, so we were back to Stratford every year until my parents eventually passed away. And we'd come through Kitchener-Waterloo. It was our old stomping ground, you know, and we would show them around and whatever. But you know, it was only until 2 months ago that I actually came back to the campus here and spent some time here. And the University of Waterloo basketball team had their 40th anniversary of the team that went to the national championship in 1986. It's the first time I've really been back here. I visited with a lot of my buddies. Some of them I hadn't talked to in 35 years, right? And it was wonderful. I mean, it was just so fun to be back here. I walked all over the campus, through some of the buildings. That was kind of an athletic trip, but this is kind of more of an academic trip. And it still is a wonderful experience, right? And I'll never forget my time here. It was just a fantastic experience, the years I spent here. So in all aspects of really being an undergraduate student. You know, I think as an undergrad, you kind of build the foundation of knowledge, right? And as a graduate student, you kind of apply it a little bit, or you learn to do research. And I think you know, Waterloo can really contributed to that part of my life. So anyway, I just want to thank so much for the award. It's a wonderful, and it's quite an honor. Thank you.
All right, well, congratulations, Robert, once again. Okay. Next, we will move on to the Faculty of Science Contributions to Science Award. Okay. This next award recognizes alumni who have made significant contributions to the advancement of science through research, discovery, and breakthrough, or who have demonstrated exceptional support and service to the Faculty of Science. This prestigious award honors individuals whose work has advanced their scientific field and strengthened the broader scientific community. This award may also recognize alumni who have shown meaningful citizenship to the faculty through science promotion and outreach, increasing the accessibility and profile of science, mentorship, volunteerism, advocacy, philanthropic support, or service on committees, boards, and panels. This year, we have 2 award recipients, and I would first like to invite to the stage Dr. David Hawthorne, the chair of the Department of Physics and Astronomy, to present the first award to Dr. Robert Wolkow.
So I'd like to start by inviting Professor Wolkow up to the stage. I'm chair of the physics department, and you can see up here that Professor Wolkow's degree is in applied chemistry. And when I first heard about this, it was sort of news to me because I know of Professor Wolkow as a physicist. So he received, he got his start in chemistry, getting his bachelor's degree here at Waterloo in 1982, and then continue on in getting his PhD at the University of Toronto, also in chemistry. but kind of, even then transitioning a little bit into becoming a bit of a physicist, working on techniques that are familiar to myself as a condensed matter physicist and studying materials and doing spectroscopy. From there, he went on and I think sort of made that transition a little bit more concrete, moving to IBM at a pretty key time where he learned about and developed a really key technique in a lot of chemistry and physics and material science and in industry, a technique called scanning tunneling microscopy. So this might not mean much to lots of people, but for physicists like me, this is like a groundbreaking, critical technique. It really didn't exist to a large extent in earlier generations, but efforts in the 80s really accelerated the progress in this technique. So the idea of this technique is you're fabricating an ultra-sharp tip, and you're using this to scan with atomic or subatomic scale resolution and giving you a capacity to image really quite directly atoms and molecules on surfaces. So Professor Wolkow really did a lot of pioneering work using this technique and took it to some of the next levels. So if you sort of look through his whole career, there's this trajectory of taking this technology and this innovation and pushing the limits of it. And I just had a conversation with him before the whole award ceremony started, and he's not done yet. So there's, I think, grand plans to keep pushing the limits of what could possibly be done with these techniques, far beyond, I think, what people would have envisioned decades ago. So I think that's been a central theme. And a lot of this work involves sort of picking up atoms one by one and reorganizing them, making electronics. We know about electronics using silicon-based devices, and people have heard about Moore's law. Well, there's limits to that, as if you could make things only so small. Well, Professor Wolkow has sort of demonstrated quite clearly, in many cases for the first time, how you can do this with single molecules, or how you can make absolutely perfect wires out of material and make electronics we just never dreamed of being possible. So in this whole journey, I think he's been amply recognized. So there's a long list of awards. I'm going to read off a few of them. So this is for looking at science excellence in Canada. The resume of Professor Wolkow ticks a lot of the boxes. So he's a fellow of the Royal Society of Canada. He's a fellow of the American Physical Society, the APS. He has received numerous awards, including IBM Outstanding Achievement Award, NRC Outstanding Achievement Award. So he's a staff member of NRC for many years. The Royal Society of Canada Rutherford Medal, ACS Tech Outstanding Leadership Award in Technology, Alberta Innovation Award, so on and so forth. He's had an exemplary publication record, so on the research front, and also many, many patents. So there's always been an eye to technology throughout Professor Wolkow's career. But then one other kind of, I'll end on kind of one other, I think, remarkable achievement, and that is his group is responsible for a Guinness World Record for the smallest or sharpest man-made object for an ultra-sharp tungsten tip. And maybe you can tell us about that.
Oh, okay.
All right, yeah, so you got, you can take this on the plane with you, right? Yeah, okay. In the middle. All right, so thanks.
Thank you for that introduction and those kind words. I had planned to be very brief, but you've been stretching out a bit. And I'm used to talking for 50 minutes or so. So I wish I had brought some of my, I wish I could have shown you some of the images of what we do and movies of moving atoms around. If you want, you can look at a TED Talk that is widely available. I should have started by saying thank you, Waterloo, for this recognition. It's caused me to reflect a lot on the time since I started here. You know, I started in 77. 77176015 is my ID number. And that's half a century ago. So I'm now 58. And oh, and thank you to Shane Moran and Daniel Bessu, who nominated me for this award. They're both also from the University of Waterloo. You know, I found my way here pretty quickly. I thought I wanted to study chemistry. I enjoyed some aspects of it. Some of it I really didn't like at all. Some of the professors were awful. But it wasn't really their fault, I guess. Those sub-disciplines were just horrible to me. Analytical chemistry and fussy stuff. I didn't believe what they were teaching me. I was always incredibly, and my wife will tell you, am still incredibly stubborn, and I don't believe anything anyone tells me. I have to verify it somehow until I'm satisfied. And some of the stuff they told me just couldn't be right. So I realized that physics had a thriving for a more basic understanding. So, you know, I started learning quantum mechanics then, and I've been studying it for 50 years or so, and I think I'm an intermediate level quantum mechanics guy now. One is never done. Yeah, so I was saying I found my way here fairly easily. I did well. I didn't have a lot of trouble picking my evolving direction. But I hadn't been very successful with girls. And one day, in my 4th year, because I had a very broad interest, I took, of all things, a 2nd-year medieval history class. And I got there, and it wasn't because I was clever and had this motive, but I was surprised to see half or more than half the class were girls. And being a budding scientist, I evaluated all of them. and I picked out the smartest and most beautiful one there, and she's here today. So we've been married for 40 years. And that's another thing that I learned at the University of Waterloo. So I should mention some of the, you know, in the chemistry department, there are always some physicists hiding out. You know, as a professor, you get hired where the options, where the availability is in that time when you're ready. And some people who perhaps want to do physics end up doing physics in the chemistry department. And there was a guy named John Moffat, who was a really wonderful teacher. And I kind of tortured him. I insisted on doing a 4th-year research project with him, and I learned a lot. I don't really think he liked having me there, but it was great nonetheless. There was another guy named Giacinto Scolas, perhaps one of the most famous scientists in that department in that era. He moved on around the time I left, became a professor at Princeton and in Trieste and other places, and we carried on a collegial relationship for many years. He, like Moffat, is gone now. But those guys I wanted to mention because they were very special. Arthur Carty was another professor who influenced me a lot. He was actually at the University of Guelph, but was somehow affiliated with Waterloo. He taught a course here. We came back together when he became the president of the National Research Council, just at the time when I was hired there. Oh, how many years ago? I've lost track. 30, 35 years, I don't know, many years ago. And we just got along really well. Not too many years ago, he was getting set to retire as the director of the Nanotechnology Institute here. And so I was asked if I might be the successor. It seemed a fairly natural progression. I remember early in the process, I was talking on the phone to the vice president research here, and fairly quickly, I didn't want to waste time, I asked how much money they were going to pay. And it turned out it was half what I was making at the University of Alberta, so the conversation ended pretty quickly. And I never came back here, but who knows, maybe someday I will in another capacity. What else? So I thought, because there's so many smart people here today, some of you might be wealthy. And I thought, although those two things don't normally go together, so I thought I'd turn this into a pitch. We have made, without question and by a very large margin, the very best techniques in the world for manipulating matter at the atomic scale. We've built circuitry that consumes 1,000 times less energy than today's CMOS, today's state-of-the-art computer circuitry. And some of you will know that 10% of the world's energy is now consumed by TikTok and AI and stuff we do, most of it silly. And the rate of increase of that energy use is just such a sharp rise, it's unbelievable. We would be, in 15 or 20 years at this rate, be using all the world's energy to do TikTok or whatever we do in 20 years. And that's just not sustainable. So we've actually made a circuitry, a method that would turn that around. And so, if anyone has a few $1 million banging around in their pocket, you should look at quantum silicon. And, you know, Prime Minister Carty is looking to create new Canadian initiatives that are outstanding and could energize this whole country. And this could be it. It's really a remarkable thing. So tell me after. I don't see any hands up right now, but if you have money, I'd like to take it from you. Okay, I think that's all I have to say. Thank you.
All right, congratulations, Robert, once again. That's going to be a tough one to follow. Okay, next, I would like to invite to the stage Dr. David Suchantha, a current assistant professor in the Department of Chemistry, to present the next award to Dr. Jerry Wright.
Thanks, Graham. So it's a real honor to be here today to introduce you to Jerry Wright. He did his PhD in chemistry here with Dr. John Honig back in the 80s. But for the last 30 years, he's been a distinguished professor at McMaster University and has been a mentor, a role model, and a significant influence on my own scientific path. I first encountered Jerry's work long before I ever met him. Which wasn't hard to do because over the course of his remarkable career, he's published more than 300 papers and has helped define the modern understanding of antibiotic resistance, which is what happens when bacteria become insensitive to existing drugs that once worked against them. So because of this, Jerry is internationally recognized as a leader in antibiotic resistance research. Over his career, he has fundamentally advanced our understanding of how bacteria evade antibiotics and how this knowledge can guide the discovery of new antimicrobial agents. His work sits at the interface of chemistry, microbiology, and medicine, and it has helped reframe antibiotic resistance as a solvable biochemical problem rather than an inevitable outcome. So Jerry's work has made many important contributions to the field, but I'd argue that one of his most influential ideas addresses a very simple question. Where does antibiotic resistance actually come from? And so in what he once described to me as kind of a science fair project, Jerry's students collected soil from everyday places and showed that many resistance genes that we now worry about in hospitals were really present in ordinary soil bacteria, which are the kind that you might find in your own backyard, and that those genes have eventually migrated into pathogenic bacteria. So that observation led to an important shift in thinking that resistance didn't suddenly appear because people started taking and using antibiotics. It's been around for a very, very long time, and it's shaped by life in the soil, where bacteria have always had to survive toxic molecules produced by their neighbors. So seeing this helped the field recognize that resistance is a normal part of microbial life, and it changed how scientists think about monitoring resistance and discovering new drugs. But while Jerry's scientific accomplishments are remarkable, they're only part of the story. What I think truly sets him apart is his role as a mentor and a builder of people. He challenges trainees intellectually while supporting them personally, expecting rigor and independence, while leading with generosity, humility, and genuine care. He creates environments where young scientists are encouraged to take risks, ask hard questions, and grow into confident leaders. And I know my own experiences shared by many others who have been mentored by him over the years. Jerry has also consistently served the community beyond his own lab. He has shared his expertise with the broader scientific community and as well as with organizations such as the Public Health Agency of Canada, contributing to national and international conversations on addressing antimicrobial resistance and the future of healthcare. So for these reasons, Jerry Wright embodies everything that this Contribution to Science Award represents and is meant to recognize excellence in research, leadership in the field, and lasting impact that extends well beyond individual accomplishments. So Jerry, it was a privilege to learn from you and to be mentored by you, and congratulations on this very well-deserved honor. So unfortunately, Jerry couldn't be here with us today, so I'll be accepting the award on his behalf.
Yes, unfortunately, Jerry could not be here with us today, but again, we'd like to congratulate him on the award. Okay? Now we move on to our final category of award this afternoon, which is the Distinguished Alumni Award. The Faculty of Science Distinguished Alumni Award recognizes alumni who have demonstrated outstanding service, contribution, and achievement over the course of their careers. This prestigious award honors individuals with exemplary professional or academic success, including leadership or advisory roles and recognition that extends beyond their field, as well as those who have made significant contributions to society through sustained community involvement, philanthropy, and the advancement of ideal principles. Recipients often show clear, measurable impact at the local to international level and meaningful engagement with the University of Waterloo through advocacy, partnership, mentorship, or support of students and programs. This year, we have 2 recipients, and I would first like to invite Tiffany Svensson, an MSc and BSc alumnus from Science and Earth Sciences, and also the 50th Alumni of Honor Award recipient and the current nominator, to present the award to Chemistry's own Dr. Liz Meyering.
It is a pleasure to be here today and to hear all these amazing stories. And it's a true Whoops, am I turning things off? Sorry about that. There we go. Well, it's a true pleasure to introduce Professor Elizabeth Meyring, Liz, a scientist whose curiosity, rigor, and generosity have transformed how we understand protein folding, stability, and misfolding, particularly in the context of human disease. My first encounter with Liz was right outside the physics lecture hall here at the University of Waterloo. It was September 12th, 1983, 83, 107, 109. And we were two keen and naive pre-optometry students. That was a mere 15,479 days ago. A number that coincidentally also happens to be associated with a pathogenic genetic mutation in the PMM2 gene. Who knew? We'd start our academic journey with a hint of foreshadowing. Since that day, it has been a privilege for me to follow Liz's journey of remarkable achievement. Liz earned her BSc in honors chemistry here at Waterloo in 1988, and then pursued a PhD at the University of Cambridge in the laboratory of Alan Fecht, followed by postdoctoral work at Harvard Medical School with Gerard Wagner, two giants in protein folding and structural biology. Returning to Waterloo, Liz built what colleagues describe as an internationally respected, high-impact research program that emphasizes quality over quantity. Her research focuses on the molecular choreography of proteins, how they fold, aggregate, and misfold, and why these processes matter. She has made groundbreaking contributions to understanding proteins such as histactophyllin and superoxide dismutase, work that her research peers said helped the design of potential treatments for ALS. Her lab combines NMR spectroscopy, biophysical chemistry, protein engineering, and computational approaches to uncover mechanisms linking protein structure, stability, and disease. As one colleague aptly said, Liz is the preeminent Canadian researcher in the field of protein folding and misfolding. Her achievements have been recognized with a John Charles Poulanier Prize, multiple Faculty of Science Outstanding Performance Awards at University Research Chair, and Erna and Jacob Michael Visiting Professorship at the Weizmann Institute. She is past president of the Protein Society, an honor only afforded to biochemists of highest research caliber, where she organized conferences that connected scientists from more than 50 countries. Equally remarkable is Liz's dedication as a mentor and leader. She has guided dozens of graduate students, postdoctoral fellows, and undergraduates, many of whom have gone on to faculty and research positions. One colleague notes that her PhD students have gone on to increase the profile of UW, and another observes that Liz cares deeply about the well-being of her students and is keenly interested in promoting their success. Liz is also a tireless advocate for equity, diversity, and inclusion. She has served on Faculty Association and Protein Society DEI initiatives, mentored countless women in science, and opened opportunities for underrepresented groups. She even devoted over a decade to establishing the Bright Stars Cooperative Early Learning Center at UW, creating childcare support for working families, a project close to her heart, born from her own experience as a working mother in academia. As one friend noted, Liz challenges social norms and the status quo and affects positive change through her research, mentorship, and volunteer service. Beyond her accolades and service, what stands out most is Liz's warmth, humor, and generosity. She leads with integrity, curiosity, and purpose, and in doing so, she elevates everyone around her. As one colleague simply put it, her success shows how well she was trained here and the value of a UW education. So after 15,479 days of friendship, mentorship, and inspiration, it is my honor to congratulate you, and I invite you all to say congratulations to Professor Elizabeth Meyering today.
Thank you so much, Tiffany. Now I'm choked up. And Hester. I knew this might happen. And Dara and Chris. Could we ever have imagined, when we were science undergrads here, 43 years ago, that we would be here today, where we used to dance? I still dance here with Dara. I want to express my heartfelt thanks for this award. It could not have come about if not for all that my family, who are here today, my husband, my children, my mother, members of our community, and of course my friends, have given and continue to give. I'm deeply grateful for your support, your kindness, and your dedication to doing worthwhile work are my constant inspiration. You make my heart sing, even though I'm weeping. So, learning and connection are what our relationships and indeed the work of universities are all about. By this I mean a myriad of connections between people, science, and society, and we've been hearing about such amazing things today. I didn't think I was going to choke up, you know, I practiced this, thought I was going to be calm. I'll get there. A passion for these guiding principles of learning and connection was instilled in me by my parents, who amazingly, to this day, continue to show me how lifelong learning and connection can grow. Not necessarily easy, but worthwhile. So too have I been shown by so many people here who come to universities from all around the world to learn, to work together on shared goals, like tackling societal challenges, as we've been hearing about. For me, that's been through studying proteins. The tremendous growth in knowledge about proteins over the course of my career is just one example, and we've been hearing of others, of success in the mission and connection from universities to industry and society. Proteins are the molecular machinery without which life could not exist. Since first learning about proteins as an undergraduate, knowledge of proteins has been making enormous strides, and I'm thrilled to contribute. As recognized by several recent Nobel Prizes, engineered and now de novo designed proteins are transforming biotechnology, and we've heard about that today too, and new blockbuster protein drugs have revolutionized medicine. One of these new antibody drugs is saving my husband's life. Still, there's so much more to be learned. Scientists truly connect the world in so many ways. I feel very fortunate to have worked in science as an educator, a researcher, and leader on such endeavors as Tiffany mentioned, as building this daycare for our community with a wonderful team, planning and delivering new programs for students, and growing connections globally. I think it's so important ever more in this world. Through professional societies, such as developing public webinars, conferences, and international research collaborations. In my ongoing journey, when I have found one path I wanted to take blocked, I have found or forged alternative paths, helped by and striving to help others whom I've met along the way. No doubt there will be new challenges. I'm excited for the ongoing journey. And I'll leave you with a paraphrase from Brené Brown, a researcher, storyteller. Let us go forth to brave the wilderness and dare greatly. Thank you.
Thank you, Liz, and congratulations again. Finally, I would like to invite Dr. Kirsten Mueller, former chair of the Department of Biology and the current Associate VP, Research, Grants, and Infrastructure here at the University of Waterloo, to present today's final award to Yvonne Stevens.
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to stand before you today and speak about an individual whose career, character, and impact embody the very best of the University of Waterloo's Faculty of Science. Yvonne is not only a proud Waterloo graduate, holding both an honors Bachelor of Science in Biochemistry and a Master's of Science in Molecular Biology from this very faculty, she is also someone who has carried the spirit of the University of Waterloo into every chapter of her professional life. Her excellence was recognized early on with the Dean of Science Award for outstanding performance in her graduate program, where she discovered her passion for molecular biology and how DNA modification tools could lead to potential innovations and impact in health sciences. And over the past 26 years, she has built a remarkable career that spans research, manufacturing, regulatory quality in the life sciences. Today, Yvonne serves as the Director of Quality Control at Lyell Immunopharma, a leader in next-generation T-cell therapies. And in this role, she ensures the safety and reliability of cutting-edge cancer treatments, therapies that show extraordinary promise in clinical trials and have led to treatments now being used as part of standard cancer care. Her leadership was instrumental in establishing Lyell's testing labs, quality control, and infrastructure that directly supports the development of life-saving immunotherapies. But what truly distinguishes Yvonne is not only what she has accomplished, but how she chooses to give back. She is a dedicated mentor, an enthusiastic advocate for STEM education. Through science fairs, school presentations, and community outreach, she has no doubt inspired countless young people to explore the world of science. And in 2024, she returned to Waterloo as the convocation speaker for the graduating science class, a moment that beautifully reflected her ongoing connection to this institution. And she represents the very best of what it means to be a Waterloo Science alumna. Congratulations, Yvonne, on receiving this award.
Thank you so much, Kristen. I'm so just excited and thrilled to be here. I want to congratulate my fellow awardees. And yeah, let's get this show going. All right. The Distinguished Alumni of Science Award. Wow. To be recognized by the very institution that shaped my curiosity, sharpened my skills, and nurtured my passion for science is a moment I will always treasure. Standing here today, I feel profoundly honored and deeply humbled because the University of Waterloo played a foundational role in shaping not just my career in science, but the way I approach successes and setbacks every day. If there is one theme that has defined my journey then and since leaving Waterloo, it is this: resilience paired with humility and the understanding that there is always room to grow and improve. I will never forget my master's advisor, Barb Moffat, who's here today, coming to our apartment as we were packing to move to Seattle. I handed her what I thought was the final draft of my thesis, convinced that I was handing over a masterpiece. She flipped through the pages, then looked at me and said, "Well, it's a good start, but there's still a lot more to go." To say I was heartbroken would be an understatement. I remember thinking, wait, what? I'm done, this is amazing. That moment, though, taught me something that no textbook ever could: humility and resilience. Science and life rarely reward us for stopping at the first or even the second draft. You keep going, you refine, you push through, then you rinse and repeat. That lesson has followed me throughout my career. There were moments when projects failed, when data was not as expected, when I had to ask for help. Each time I heard echoes of that moment: there is more to go, keep going. Resilience is not about never failing. It is about getting back up with curiosity and drive instead of defensiveness. Humility is not about doubting yourself. It is about staying open to learning even when you think you have arrived. In my current position as Director of Quality Control at Lyell Immunopharma in Seattle, Washington, I am incredibly blessed to witness cancer patients who had lost hope enter remission using our immunotherapies. I will never forget meeting a woman who had battled cancer for over 20 years and who finally, after her treatment, had a new lease on life. She was in remission and had recently been able to dance with her daughter at her wedding, something that had seemed unthinkable a few short weeks before. She held my hands and said, "Your hands have held my cells. Thank you." In that moment, through my tears, I was reminded that science is not just about data. It is about people and giving them the most important gift of all, time with their loved ones. This reflection today reflects far more than my own journey. It belongs to my community, the remarkable professors who challenged me to think critically, the classmates who inspired and pushed me, and my family and friends, Table 3 and Table 8, for their unwavering love and support. My life has taken me far from these halls, but I am guided each day by the foundations of perseverance, curiosity, and integrity that were built right here at the University of Waterloo. I accept this award not as a finish line, but as a reminder of our responsibility as scientists and alumni to guide those who follow, to continue seeking knowledge, to give back to this institution and its students by supporting programs like the Ideal Scholar, and to use what we know to make the world a better place for generations to come. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for this honor, and thank you for reminding me that even now, this is still just a good start, and there's still a whole lot more to go. Thank you.
Well, for the last hour and a half, I've been sitting over here musing about what concluding remarks I might be able to offer today. It was truly amazing to hear your reflections on your time here at Waterloo and afterwards. Your words spoke of sacrifice and dedication, and they ranged from emotional, many of us were crying, to inspiring, to downright comedic, Robert. But ultimately, it was the breadth of your experiences, which were remarkable, and the quality of your words that you offered us today, for which we wish to thank you. So at this point, to wrap this up, I want to offer thanks to both the awardees for attending today and their family and friends who have managed to fill Fed Hall for this event. Thank you, Ashley, for your opening remarks, which were truly inspiring. And thank you, Jason, for being with us again here today. We need to thank the faculty and staff in the Faculty of Science for their continued support of these awards, with nominations, with being part of the awards committee, or being part of today's celebrations. We need to thank the Science Alumni, or the Science Advancement Office, Megan, Sharon, Peter, Elizabeth, and Krista, for their work with the entire awards process and for today's celebration. Thank you, Britton and the Science Communications team for their help running today, and IST for making sure things run smoothly. Okay. So at this point, if what you have heard today has inspired you to possibly nominate a fellow UWaterloo alum for one of these awards, on the back of your program is a QR code that will lead you to the path to do so. So at this point, I would like to invite all of the award recipients up to the front for photos, and to the rest of you, to the back for photos, and to the rest of you, the bar is open. Thank you very much, and congratulations once again.